Thank you for watching the Finance and Affirmations podcast. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you click the subscribe button so you'll be alerted when I post new content. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. I just want to check in with you because we have completed the first quarter of 2024, and I wanted to see if you are still on track with your financial goals. Okay, so first off, what were your financial goals? Okay, so hopefully you wrote them down somewhere, you remember what they are. And then the next thing is, are you still on track with those goals? Meaning, if you set a goal to pay off a certain amount of debt or to get your credit repaired or, something like that, have you met those goals and stuck to them? And if so, congratulations. That is wonderful. And I would love to hear about it. If you want to send me an email, that would be great. Okay. So we know that many people who set resolutions and goals at the beginning of the year, many times by February, those goals are like out of the window, right? So if I'm talking about you, if you are one of those people who has kind of put their goals by the wayside already, you know what? It's really okay. All right. Because you know why? You can always start again. Right. So this is the beginning of the second quarter. So let's revisit your goals, write out a plan if you need to, and then use the SMART system for goal setting. Now, SMART is an acronym, and we're going to go over each letter. So the S means specific. Okay, so you could write up a goal and say something like, in the month of April, I want to save $50 in my emergency fund account. I will transfer $25 from my checking account twice a month into that emergency fund account. Okay, so it's specific. It's saying exactly what you're going to do and the steps that you're going to take, right? All right, the M in SMART means measurable. So the first goal that I talked about is very measurable, right? We said we were going to do $25 twice a month, so we can always go back and look and check that. And then we said $50 by the end of the month. So that's definitely measurable. We can look in the account and see if we have completed that goal. All right. The A stands for achievable. Okay, so based on your current budget, is this goal achievable? So if you're setting goals to pay off more debt or save more money, make sure it's an achievable goal based on where you are financially at the time, right? So in this case, we will assume that it is an achievable goal, especially as it relates to saving. Even if you're only saving $5 a month, which is what I had to do many years ago because that's all I could afford, it's a good thing because you are getting in the habit of saving. Okay. Now, the next letter is T, and that means time. Is it time bound? Okay, so does a specific goal have parameters about when you want to achieve it? And the goal that I mentioned earlier does. It says every 2 weeks, there will be a $25 deposit so that at the end of the month, there's a $50 savings goal, which will be achieved. Okay. So that is setting goals using the SMART acronym. All right. And then one of the things that I would add to that would be setting affirmational goals as it relates to those financial goals. Okay. I would link the two up. So financial goal set with the SMART acronym, and then an affirmational goal linked up with it. So maybe your affirmation that you would say use every day in the month of April says, I enjoy saving money. And if you were to rehearse that affirmation every day, it would further support what you're trying to do as it relates to saving money, right? And so my personal favorite, if any of you guys know me, you've heard this probably 100 times, but my favorite way to affirm myself in saving is saving feels good. Okay. So, with those affirmations coupled with the goals that you have, I think it'll make it easier for you to reach what you want to reach. Okay. All right. So, also today, I want to revisit a budgeting method that I have discussed in the past, okay? And it's called the cash envelope method, or some these days call it the cash stuffing method. And so in this method, you would use actual envelopes, jars, boxes, whatever you want to use, and label them and separate them into different categories like your rent, your car payment, your groceries, etc. Right? And so then when you get paid, you go to the bank and get cash out for those bills. Okay. Once you have the cash, then you would put the cash in the envelope based on what the category is. So, for instance, if you went and got cash for your rent, you would take that cash and put it in the rent envelope. If you went and got cash for eating out, you would take that cash and put it in your eating out envelope. Okay. And you would follow that process for all of the categories that you set. Okay. Now, the key to this is once you have the money in the envelopes, you have to use only the money in those envelopes for that month. Okay. So we know that your rent is going to pretty much be the same every month, right? You'll put the money in, take it out, and that's it. But say for groceries or entertainment, stuff like that, those kind of fluctuate, right? And so say it's groceries, you take your grocery envelope with you, you spend the money, and then if there's money left over, great. But that's the only money you can use for that month. So once that money runs out, that's it. You don't have any more to spend in that category. Okay. Now, another way people also use it, though, is like if they do have a category that has extra money, say their entertainment has extra money and they need that for their groceries, then you can use that money to move it over. However, it would still only be the amount allotted for that month. Okay. All right, so this is a system that I used in the early 2000s. And when I used it, I actually had white envelopes that you mail in the mail, right? I put all of my categories on there, and then I would go to the bank, get the cash, and put the money in those envelopes. So that's the way that I did it way back when, over 20 years ago now. Wow. Since then, there have been a variety of ways and resources to use this method of budgeting. For instance, people have started to use a budget binder that allows you to do the cash envelope system among other financial systems. Okay. And so this is a great way to organize the process because the binders come with labels, and then you attach you attach the labels to the envelopes, and then your envelopes stay neatly in the binder. Okay. And I've seen some people, they use that binder as their actual wallet because there's typically places in there for you to put credit cards and even a passport, stuff like that. And then they'll also put their monies, their cash money in that binder. So they kind of use it all in one system. Okay. And so I've also evolved in this system. And so there are now ways that you can do this digitally. Okay. So some banks will allow you to do this on a variety of apps and spreadsheets, or they categorize your different items for you. But I started out using a spreadsheet, and I actually like using the spreadsheet. And I have also created an app, a financial app, where I can do this same thing inside of the financial app. Okay. And so the way that the digital process works is you have a digital envelope that you label just like you would label a regular envelope, right? You have your categories listed out there, but then you will put a budget in there for yourself, okay? And then as you spend in those categories, you will either have to hold the receipts, look in your bank account, or looking your bank statements. And you will use that to do the subtraction to see if you have stayed within your goal. Okay. So when you're doing the digital one, you can choose the interval you want to do. Some people like doing it every day, every other day. Some people are like, no, I'll do it weekly or every 2 weeks when I get my paycheck. Whatever you set is great. But the thing is, you have to be diligent and going back and looking and then making those subtractions digitally. Okay. So not only do you have to be diligent in making sure that you are making the subtractions digitally, to me, this really takes a little more focus, right? Because it's so easy to swipe your debit card or your credit card. And it's very different when you have cash and you see it dwindling down. It's very different. So if you're going to use it digitally, which is absolutely fine, just make sure you are more diligent in making those deductions. Okay. All right. So in addition to my evolution, right, to using digital ways of doing it, I have also evolved because I'm very much a both and person, right? So I actually use a spreadsheet and I use the envelope method, right? And so why is that important? Because my debit card and my credit cards give me Delta Sky miles. And let me tell you, I am thirsty for those Delta Sky miles, okay? And so I will use my credit card or debit card for the bigger things. I'll use bill pay, that kind of thing, for the bigger bills that are going to give me the most points. But what I still use the envelope method for is eating out and entertainment, things like that, right? Because I really am trying to limit myself on how much I spend because I do have some saving goals that I want to achieve. And so I actually still use the envelope method for those two categories. Okay. And so I get my binder, I put my cash in there, and then I pull it out and use it that way to keep my budget. Okay. Now, using both systems simultaneously works fine for me, but you may be like, nope, I'm only going to use the binder. You may be like, nope, I'm only going to use a spreadsheet, or you may have some other type of method that you use. Any of those are possible, okay? And I wanted to share a special announcement with you. So at my website, you can now get a free download of my bare bones budget financial spreadsheet, okay? And so that spreadsheet contains a budget tab. It has an emergency savings, debt elimination, and digital envelope tab, okay? So if you go to my website at www.financeandaffirmations.com and then click on financial tools, you'll get access to where you can download that free budgeting spreadsheet, okay? And in that same area, there's also a full budgeting spreadsheet. So it has everything that the bare bones budgeting spreadsheet has, except you get 3 digital envelope tabs. You will also get monthly budget actuals. So it's January through December, where you have the opportunity to go in and put in exactly how much you spent, and then it'll do a calculation for you at the end of the year. Okay. And the wonderful thing I like about that is each month includes a different financial affirmation for you. Okay. And so the way I use it is whatever that financial affirmation is for that month, that's the affirmation that I do every day of that month. Okay. To encourage myself financially. Now, this spreadsheet is not free. However, it is really a nominal cost. It is $3 for that spreadsheet. So you can go to my website, and if that's something that's of interest to you, please go ahead and download a copy of that. All right. And last but not least, on my website, I also have the budget binders, the actual binders that you can purchase for yourself if you want to keep it in that nice little binder and have the envelopes and the markers and all of those kind of things to organize your finances. You can actually get the binder at my website. Okay. All right. So I'm going to wrap up here. And what I want to say to you is if you stayed on track for the first quarter, again, congratulations. But if you've not stayed on track, it's okay. All right, you can start again. One of my favorite scriptures is that God's mercies are new every morning. So you have the opportunity every morning to start again and to continue to be intentional about doing and accomplishing your financial goals. Okay. And now you can use the resources and tools at my website to help you along the way. Okay. All right. Until next time, blessings. I hope you enjoyed watching the Finance and Affirmations podcast. If you haven't already done so, click the subscribe button. Until next time, blessings.